Okay, so recently, female rapper Noname created a lot of waves and buzz on social media when she announced that she's thinking of quitting rap. Her reason behind this decision was that she feels uncomfortable performing in front of predominantly white crowds. She feels that this isn't a crowd that her music was meant to appeal most to. And on top of that, she also feels uncomfortable with looking into the crowd and seeing thousands of white faces singing along to her songs and saying the N word. Personally, that one was a little justified. She says that after releasing her next album, she's done with music. She's focusing on her book club, and that's it. Now, she hasn't necessarily confirmed when the album is going to come out, so nobody knows exactly when she's going to quit music. She seems very adamant on this decision. Now, the first time I heard about this situation, I think I had the same reaction as a lot of people. It was easy for me to just look at what she said, not think about it too hard, and just say, she's in the wrong. What she's doing is not okay. What she's saying is not okay. And she might be a little bit of a racist. But after meditating on it, you really start to realize that, like, there's so many levels and so many opinions, so many points of views to this topic that it's not easy to say who's right or who's wrong. So personally, I'm just gonna put out my opinion, and you guys can tell me yours, and we can, I don't know, have a discussion and decide on who's right. So first of all, like I just said, after thinking about it hard, I started to really understand where she's coming from. I can understand the thoughts she made that led her to make this decision. Because we have to keep in mind that probably when she entered the music industry, she probably entered with a mindset to spread a message to people of her kind. She wanted to make the type of music that black people and black women specifically could relate to. Almost like creating some type of safe haven for those types of people to listen in to her points of view, to her problems that she goes through in the world and in society, and for them to be able to be like, okay, I relate to what she's saying. And for her to not necessarily accomplish this, since it seems like a majority of her fan base may happen to be white, she probably almost feels like she's sold out. The only reason that she's doing this, since it isn't what she initially wanted to do, is just for the money at this point. She sold out, she went commercial, and there's nothing else to her. I can imagine that since this isn't what she signed up for, she probably feels a little bit of a sense of rejection from black people. Now, maybe this is just me being an optimist, but I feel like she really had the opportunity to see this from a different angle instead of a critical one. I see No Name as someone in a power of position as a musician and as an activist, as a black activist, because in my opinion, most global racial problems are usually created by the white man. Now, I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but I can't really sugarcoat history. For example, colonialism, slavery, police brutality, and I feel like the first step to creating a world of actual equality and liberation of all people is through education, because racial stereotypes and misconceptions are usually created by people that are uneducated on racial problems. I mean, how can white people see their privilege and instead of just dwelling in it, use it as a tool to create equality if they're not educated on their privilege in the first place? And then you have No Name, a person who's in a position where she has literally millions of white people literally just waiting to see and hear what she has to say. People that literally pay money just to hear her opinions on the world and society. She's really in a position to change so many prejudiced mindsets. She's in a position to make so much change, and it really would be sad to see her throw all that away. Now, as far as her white fans go, especially the ones I feel offended, one thing I noticed is that a lot of them can sympathize with her reasoning and even understand it and maybe even agree with it. But a lot of them are offended because they feel like she mishandled the situation at hand. Her approach was way too aggressive and insensitive to a fan. I mean, I honestly can't imagine what I would go through if I opened Twitter one day and I saw that my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers, wants to quit music because he doesn't like performing to me or people like me. Maybe this wouldn't have come with so much controversy if she tried to ease into the situation instead of just blatantly going on a rant on Twitter about how she doesn't like performing in front of white crowds. And a lot of her fan base feel like she's ungrateful because these are the people that supported her from day one. These are the people that literally threw money at her and now allowed No Name to build a career and make a lot of money and probably tour the world and meet all kinds of different people and experience so many interesting experiences off of doing what she loves, which is making music. They're the people that made it possible for her. And then out of the blue, without an ounce of sensitivity, she says she doesn't like performing to these types of people. A lot of them feel like, I don't know, maybe they've been used, because No Name is a mainstream artist. She's someone who lives the furthest thing from a mediocre lifestyle. And a lot of her fans feel like No Name generalized them regarding the whole N-word issue. This whole N-word issue is also a sensitive topic and a layered topic. It's so hard to say who's right and who's wrong, because I remember about a year ago there was that situation where Kendrick Lamar was performing live and he allowed one of the people in the audience to come and perform with him, and it was a white girl, and she was rapping along to Kendrick's lyrics, and she was saying the N-word, and Kendrick told her to stop, and then that became a whole issue on the internet with a lot of people saying Kendrick was wrong, because if you're gonna put the N-word in your music, you should be aware that your fans of all colors are gonna say it, and then there's people on the other side saying, regardless of whether or not he puts it in his music, the word still has the history behind it, so not anybody should be able to use it. So yeah, for Noname to go out and say she doesn't like the idea of her white fans saying the N-word at her, a lot of them are upset because they feel like not all of them say the N-word in her songs, and for her to say that all of them do is, well, not okay. And on a last note, I feel like it's not impossible that Noname may have been taking this predominantly white crowd situation at her concerts a little bit too seriously. Because I remember this year, Ras posted a video of him performing in South Africa, and even then, the crowd was majority white. In Africa, the crowd was still majority white. And it really goes to show you that obviously they're not the dominant race in African country. But if they were still the one able to dominate the amount of people there, it shows that maybe the situation at hand isn't because she doesn't have a lot of black fans. Maybe it's a social economic issue where, white people take up a majority of the middle class and upper class, especially in countries like the US. So logically, it makes sense that they'd be the ones who are privileged enough and capable to go to such events as concerts and festivals and whatnot. So yeah, that's my opinion. Tell me if you agree with me or not. I really want to know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like debating hip hop issues. And yeah.